Hey, it's Dave Nasani here, the Caregiver's Caregiver at caregiverdave.com on the Caregiver Dave radio show. Just want to bless you with an interview I did back in 2022 of the late, great Suzanne Somers. I know you'll enjoy it. How do you introduce Suzanne Somers? Everybody knows her, from men to women to young boys. She was Chrissy Snow on Three's Company.
I had an alcoholic father, so I never drank hard liquor. Mm-hmm. But when our house burned down in Malibu, because if you live in Malibu, your house will burn down at some point.
Yeah.
And so you get, I've had two houses there, you just get used to it. And the second house we moved into was a leased house, because I figured I'd be able to rebuild my house real fast with a sympathy vote from the city.
Yeah,
no. And I didn't know that this leased house, this beautiful house, was loaded with black mold. I said to Alan, our house is like a beautiful woman with syphilis. You can have her, but you'll pay. So the house was loaded with stachybotrys, which is the worst kind of black mold. I got it in my GI tract. My husband got it in the base of his brain, the cerebellum, in the central nervous system.
Oh,
and the good news is I wrote a book about it called Toxic, and it was a bestseller.
Yeah.
But that was when I really started understanding the full effect of toxicity, mold being another toxin. In fact, the mold organism is the same as a cancer organism. So if you're living in a house with mold, take it very seriously. There's no quick answer, there's no drug answer, but I interviewed the best and the brightest in this country. And I think Toxic is one of my best books, along with A New Way to Age, says the entrepreneur. But this is what I do for a living. And had I not been fired from Three's Company, would any of this happen? Would I have been speaking in front of you at Harvard? No. So it all was as it was supposed to be.
Wow. Be on a phone call with an interview with your husband about the entrepreneurship. There wouldn't have been the book. There wouldn't have been about what he went through and dealing with challenges. So all that would never have happened, that's for sure.
So Alan is a big part of all of this. I mean, maybe this all wouldn't have happened without Alan, right? I remember at Harvard, you told the story about how he was, you heard something up on the hill, and he was going to be the big macho guy and save you, and he ran up the hill, and he ran down the hill, he scared whoever it was away, and then he jumped, this big Superman leap. Tell that story, and tell us how you met Alan.
Well, my husband, for starters, has a conceal and carry permit because we live on a large piece of land here. And it's our Second Amendment right. And it was, I think it was Easter Sunday, and we walked down to our organic vegetable garden, this beautiful walk. And we're walking back, and I've got a basket full of cauliflower and broccoli, and I can't wait for the meal we're going to make. And I see right up on the hill here, there's a guy. And he knows he's not in the right place because our kitchen is right there, and there he was. So Alan goes around the back way, goes and gets his, his piece, and puts on his jack boots and a baseball hat and dark glasses, and walks up the hill. 83 years old, but he's like not a normal 83 years old because I've taken such good care of him. So I'm watching from the porch, right from where I am right now, and I've got the camera going just in case I need any visual proof. And I see the guy do this, but Alan never pulled it on him. I just see the guy, what he was really saying was, I didn't realize. So then I see the guy walking over the hill, and Alan looks at me like, I know, I may be 83, but I'm pretty bitchin' cool. And now, I'm looking at it right now, you can't see it, but we have a golf cart path that goes up to our kitchen. And there's a 6-foot wall there. And he's showing off for his wife. He just scared away an intruder with the baseball hat and the wraparound sunglasses. And I see him do this, and then I see him jump. And what I saw was slow motion. In my mind, I'm going, no. He jumps, and it went very badly. I ran over there, and he was like a dead deer lying in the golf cart path. And so I said, I'm going to go get the golf cart. And he goes, do you know how to drive it? I went, no, but I'll learn. By the way, it's not hard. I get the golf cart down to him, and he's dead weight. he can't lift himself. And, you know, in crisis, there's a substance we all make called cortisol, and it's like how a mother can lift a car off her baby who's just been run over. I somehow got his, how much do you weigh, Alan?
180.
His 180 pounds into the golf cart. I took him down to the bottom of the hill. I said, I'm calling 911. That's when cops used to come. And I said, he said, no. I said, what do you mean no? He said, it's Easter Sunday. I'm going to get the F team. F as in front. And I went, you have to go to the hospital. He goes, no. So when he says no, he means no. And I wonder if you remember that when you were dating, when you were a kid, Alan, no means no. And so now I have to get him. We've got a little cart that goes up the hill on the other side because the golf cart only goes down, it doesn't go up. So now I got to get him over there and drag him into the little cart that goes up the hill. I get him up there at the top. I get him and I get him to the guest room. And I lie him down on the bed there. And I thought, what am I going to do? So I thought a bath would feel good. So I filled the bathtub with hot water, got him into the bathtub. And he's lying there and until the water sort of cooled off. It's now like 5:30 in the evening. And I said, so what do you want to do? You want to like lie in this lukewarm water the rest of the night? And he said, I want to go to my own bed. I went, of course you do. So now I got to get him out of the bathtub. I got to get him up the hill. I drape him around my neck. I get him in bed upstairs. So he's wincing all night long. And in the morning, I call this doctor, Darrow, a sports doctor that I've interviewed in a couple of my books. In fact, he's in this book, The New Way to Age. And I get a sentence or two into it. He goes, stop. He said, you're in danger. He said, he could clot and have a stroke and die.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. He said, call 911. So now it's not Easter Sunday, so maybe I'll get the C team. So I called 911. You know, when you live in a small town, this is Palm Springs, they were there within 5 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. Suddenly in the bedroom were policemen, firemen, and I love, you know, I come from cops and firemen. I always feel great around cops and firemen. And they just took over and took care, and that's when I fell apart. And we get they get him down the hill, and they get him in the ambulance, and in the ambulance I'm saying how I had to carry him up. They go, you did? I said, yeah. And so he had dislocated his hip, and he felt rather stupid about it, but he got to show off for me. Was it worth it, Al? It was absolutely worth it.
Hell yeah.
I love men.